Welcome to opening day of 2025. I am your coach and GM, James Miller, here for the Seattle Mariners. And looking at it, I did a big oopsie of last episode of not touching on what owner John Stanton wants us to do. Number one, we need a winning record. That should be easy. Number two, acquire a power hitter. Should be simple to do. Just need to figure out and keep it intentional to do something like that. Number three, increase fan interest. And number four, keep building your team up in order to reach the playoffs in the next 5 seasons. So number two and number four go hand in hand, but increase fan interest. Let's go ahead and take a look at what that looks like. So market size, we have above average. Fan loyalty, we have above average. Fan interest, we have 66. That looks awesome. I absolutely love that. We should, in theory, be able to drum this up really easily by not really having to worry about not just get popular average people and do well on the field. Another thing I wanted to touch on was potential player salary. So in this year, we're definitely losing Adonis Ramirez, Rowdy Tellez, all-time name in Miles Mastrobuoni, Donovan Solano, maybe getting rid of Dylan Moore, but he's just such a good bench piece, we may offer him a long-term deal. In the next 2 years, we'll definitely be moved on from Jorge Polanco, J.P. Crawford, Trent Thornton, Randy Arozarena, in addition to Mitch Garver after this year as well. And then 2027, we will be having to make decisions on Logan Gilbert, Josh Fleming, Taylor Saucedo, and Gabe Spear. So we really do have a good tiered setup to where we don't really have to worry about a lot of long-term commitments. We got our pitchers that we're going to have to make commitments on. Luke Raley's a guy we're going to have to make commitments on. But ultimately, we have a really decent salary situation that should be able to grow in the next few years, and we should have players coming up to supplement and supplant some of these players in the short term. So what does that mean for us? Well, right now, we're just going to hold pat and try to be a win-now ball club, but not at the cost of winning in the next 4 years. We're looking at things that immediately help us now and aren't going to hurt our immediate to long-term future for the ball club. As long as Cal Riley and Julio Rodriguez are here, which I believe is through 2031, there's only going to be one other player that's going to be available, and that's going to be Troy Taylor, who is a relative no one. So my goal is to win each of these guys at least 2 World Series. So without further ado, we are jumping into it. After about 2 months into the season, we are back. It is June 1st, and we got a lot, and I mean a lot, to discuss. If you look towards our team roster over here on the right, you can see, hey, it doesn't look the same. And that's because there's been a lot of changes. Number one, we have had a lot of major transactions happen here for the Seattle Mariners. Let me pull up our transaction log. So, April 21st, J.P. Crawford. He goes out. He's got a broken hand. Need a shortstop. I don't really see a lot in our minor league system that's ready to come up right now. So, go ahead and make this trade for... it's just pulled up the wrong trade. Let me see. It is this one right here. So, we trade a reliever or starting pitcher who's relatively a nobody. Durangelo Sinhinte, whatever. Apologize for butchering that name, but that's not a name I was going to be able to pronounce. He really doesn't have that high of a ceiling, and we needed a when-now kind of move for IKF. As you can see, IKF is not on our team anymore, but one thing I wanted to point out real quick is his fielding stats at the moment. His ZR at shortstop was heavily negative here in Seattle, so I thought that we needed a little bit better of a shortstop. So, moving on. Obviously, a couple days later, I made another trade, May 1st. So, IKF's tenure with the Seattle Mariners was 10 days, and this was the next trade. So, Jorge Polanco had been struggling with us, was ready to move on from him. Logan Evans is kind of, I thought he was up. Yeah, he was up in AAA with us. He was all right. He just was not going to be able to crack this rotation, and the Tigers saw value in him. And then, of course, IKF traded for Javier Baez, who was slashing 309, 346, 546. That's pretty decent. And then, as we talked earlier last episode, getting a couple of bullpen pieces, we went ahead and got Tyler Holton, who, great left-handed pitcher, is going to dominate left-handers pretty well. And then also splits right-handed decent as well. He's just going to locate. He's not going to give up home runs. He's not going to give up a lot of hits. He's got a good pitch mix. Just a decent all-around reliever. And then we got Will Vest, who was a pretty darn good pitcher to have in the bullpen as well. Slightly higher stamina, good hold runs. He's going to be a good guy for us to have going forward. But also in doing so, we got our second baseman / third baseman of the now and maybe into the future of Jace Young, who's going to have average power, decent gap power, but is going to have really good eye, average defense, and is going to put the ball in play, not strike out too much. He hasn't been doing that great for us, but hopefully he can get it turned around a little bit. Actually, he's been doing okay for us, so hopefully he can keep it up. Next trade that we made, this one I would say is our biggest trade. So number one, we got rid of a lot of prospects. We traded away Victor Robles. We traded away Jeter Martinez, who, of course, as soon as he leaves, goes up. But again, I didn't like the control. I didn't like the personality class. He was going to give up home runs. I'm not against this trade. Traded another Soren Lau, who he looks decent. Michael Morales, again, decent pitcher, nothing more, nothing less. And then Teddy McGraw, again. All of these guys were good pitchers, but they're super far away, and they're not going to help us now. And in reality, they're not the type of way I like to build my pitching staff, so I don't care if we get rid of them. But who did we get in return? Glad you asked. Number one, we got Mason Miller. We have arguably one of the best closers in baseball. So, just absolutely elite stuff. Absolutely great control. Above average, amazing fastball slider, decent changeup. Might even be a guy that we can stretch out into a starter if we hit a couple of dev boosts on him. So, also picked up Seth Brown. Just wanted to have the lefty bat in the lineup. He has been great for us. He's hit a couple homers for us. So as long as he keeps producing, he might still play. And then Esteury Ruiz, who is kind of our insurance policy of if Julio Rodriguez goes down, he's a more rounded outfielder than anyone else on our team is. And in reality, he's just kind of a table setter. So I was pretty happy with going and getting Esteury Ruiz. Also, another major thing that we did is we have called up prospect Harry Ford. He is taught up in left field. He's learning third base on the fly. He's taught up at first base. He's done all right in AAA this year. Has struggled so far in the major leagues. But let me just go ahead and split this to the major leagues. So he kills left-handed pitchers and has been doing a great job against left-handed pitchers, but he's been destroyed by right-handed pitchers. So right now we're just getting him some we're getting him some at bats against lefties. We're not playing him against righties because he's just getting overmatched right now. But more importantly than all of that, we have locked him up long term. $9 million a year for 4 years of free agency control, with $6 million being the most. So 10 years at $56 million, I thought was a bargain to have this kind of a potential piece on our team who can literally play everywhere on the diamond. Is going to be another backup to, going to be a mostly backup to Cal Riley, but also play every single day somewhere in the infield or outfield or DH once his bat fully develops. So really excited about all of that. The reason our team composition has had to change so drastically, though, is we have had very, very bad injuries so far this year. Number one, you'll notice Jace Young's actually playing second base for us. That's because our starting second baseman this year, Ryan Bliss, is down for the second time already this year. He had a fractured foot after the first week of the season. He has been killing it. Like, this is a guy who I really want to keep in the lineup at all times because he has been doing phenomenally. Just wanting to make sure that we get as many at-bats for him as possible just because he has been doing so great. Second guy that went down was Rowdy Tellez. Rowdy Tellez went down with a sprained ankle, but he hit so terribly that we ended up just releasing him after his rehab assignment. JP Crawford is the big reason that there's a lot of trades that have happened because he's out with a broken hand. He's been out since mid-April. It's already June and he still has 2 months left. So he'll be back after the trading deadline. Might be a good additional piece for us to have. But not really missing him too much right now. He was doing all right. He was getting on base a lot. He was scoring some runs for us. He hit a couple home runs, had a good amount of RBIs, was even on strikeouts to walks. Like, he was doing all right, but not really missing him right now because Javi Baez has just been great. Julio Rodriguez was also injured for 2 weeks. He got hit in the head, had a concussion, but he's back now, and he's doing Julio Rodriguez things. We also were able to activate Matt Brash off of the injured list. He is back, and he had to be activated because we had another pitching injury to George Kirby. He's out with a strained shoulder for 5 to 6 weeks. Just not a good time for him all around, especially because he's looking for $7 million next year. George Kirby is going to be a tough one to figure out on this because leading into the next thing, I have tried to secure a little bit more of our future in terms of offering long-term contract extensions for some people on our team. That looks like, I believe, it's right here. So we have offered 3 contracts so far, all more than 5 years. So Brian Wu at 8 years, $108 million. This is a guy who right now already has 1.4 WAR. He's gonna do very well this year. He's normal injury proneness. He's pitching great. Let's lock him up until he's 32. And that's what both of those years are. It's to get them to 32. Bryce Miller having a little bit more difficult of a year, but he's pitching phenomenally. He's about to be arbitration eligible. So let's get out in front of it with an average salary of $9 million for a guy who's going to give us 2 to 3 WAR a year at $9 million. Say less for me. Try to have it. What is it? You pay $8 million in free agency per WAR. So if I can get 2 or 3 WAR from $9 million, I'm very happy with that. And then Matt Brash, yes, he's coming off of an injury, but getting this quality of a reliever locked up for 5 years at a little bit over $4 million a year is phenomenal. All of these contracts have the last 2 years as team options as well. So this is, by all accounts and purposes, a 3-year, a 4-year, and a 6-year deal. So pretty happy with the way that we're building out our pitching staff here. So looking at it right now, though, let's talk about not so much the future, but what we've done so far this year. Right now, we're first place in the wild card, second place in our division, 2.5 games back, I believe, of the Houston Astros. And looking at it, we're struggling a little bit in one-run games. We're really struggling in extra inning games. We're okay on the road. We're great at home. We're 1 win above our Pythagorean record. And we're doing okay. March was great. April was great. May, we came a little bit down to earth. And if we look at it, it's for 2 reasons. Number one, we have an average hitting area. Our batting average isn't great, but our on-base percentage is decent. We're anywhere from about, looks like 6th, 7th, 8th in most categories. We're striking out a lot, so that's something we need to work on. We're not hitting a lot of home runs, but that's also a part factor of Seattle. And just need to start turning this stuff around. Need to get a little bit better average out of the team, start seeing a little bit more production in the team batting. And then if we look at our pitching record, we have the best starting rotation in baseball. 5th runs allowed in baseball. And that is because our bullpen ERA has been terrible. But I think that I've done enough to address that. I'm just going to leave it be. Need more sample sizes out of this stuff. We don't walk a lot of people. We don't give a lot of home runs. We don't let up a lot of hits. Great for WAR. Like, we're in a decent place. We just need our bullpen to start coming through. So speaking of that, let's go look at our lineups and see what everyone's doing. So pitching wise, this is a little bit different of a view. I finally have updated my view to see where exactly, who exactly and what exactly is doing good. So Logan Gilbert, Luis Castillo, Brian Wu, all 3 of our top 3 starters are doing fantastic. Great ERAs all around. Andres Munoz with a 38 FIP minus is absolutely pitching out of his mind. Also, the pitching leverage of an average of 2.3, a 40% strikeout rate, 25% strikeout to walk ratio. Like, this guy is pitching out of his mind. But he's the only bullpen piece up here. Now, obviously, we picked up Mason Miller. He's been doing great since coming over. Tyler Holton's been doing okay. But you look at it, and we have Gabe Spire, who's struggling. We have Will Vest, who's struggled since coming over here. It looks like he's getting a little bit unlucky from his FIP and his Sierra. So he should start to level out a little bit. Gregory Santos is not pitched great for us, but again, he also looks like another guy who's getting a little bit unlucky from his FIP and his Sierra. So just need to get him more innings, just let him get more time. Taylor Saucedo is not pitching well at all. His FIP matches his ERA. His Sierra is pretty high. Not looking great there. But Josh Fleming in our as our 5th starter, is just doing his job. He's just eating innings. That's all he's here for. Same as Bryce Miller. He's eating innings at an average pace. Love that. So Colin Snyder, also not doing great. He's not doing bad. There's nothing on his thing that's looking outlandish to me. It's just, to me, his FIP minus is average, so he's getting average fielding independent pitching luck. CRA plus is a little bit down. Just need to get a couple of these guys a little bit more time as just in their new roles. So Will Vest should improve as the year goes on. Tyler Horton's been doing great. Colin Snyder should improve as well. Gregory Santos, hopefully he can turn it around. Matt Brash is new. Mason Miller, as you can see, is coming in as a stopper/closer. I want him to be my 8th inning guy, and if Andres Munoz is not available to go 2 innings, Mason Miller's going to be that guy. If the game is going into an absolute bloodbath, I want Mason Miller and Andreas Munoz to put out that fire. So pitching-wise, we are looking great. Lineups-wise, it's a little bit different. And it's really not as bad as it looks on paper. So Julio Rodriguez is having a world-renowned season right now. Already has 2.8 WAR within 2 months of the season. He's on pace to have 6+ WAR. Actually, let's take a peek at it. Currently on pace to have 8 WAR, which is insane. He's already missed time. Going to have 131 games, 8 WAR. Hit 40 home runs. Just dude is doing absolutely crazy things. I absolutely love to see it. Luke Raley having himself a career year. I think he knows he's not going to be here for much longer. I don't know if I'm going to pay this arbitration, especially with the Harry Fords and whatnot and waiting in the wings that will need playing time. Cal Riley, we knew was going to be doing well. His on-base percentage is okay. His slugging is dipped a little bit. I'd like to see his OPS plus get back into the 800s, but when he hits the ball, he does it well. Javier Baez is having a little bit of a resurgence here. He's just putting the bat on the ball. We're putting him in a place where he can kind of start setting the table for the top of our lineup. Yeah, we're liking it. I'm debating on putting Mitch Garver into the DH role, but we'll just have to see. Jace Young, he's doing all right. He's got a good eye, so just needs to continue to put it together. Once he gets a little bit better contact, we'll be all right. Esteury Ruiz is coming in mostly as, I believe, a right-handed bat in a left-handed lineup. Yep. Just had a thought. Okay. Who's playing left field there? Dylan Moore is going to come in here. Dylan Moore is going to play second base. Jace Young is going to play third base. All right. Just needed to make that decision because Dylan Moore has been hitting well this season as well. I think we are 1, maybe 2 bats away from actually turning this thing completely around. I think Harry Ford's going to bust out of it soon. I think Esteury Ruiz and Jace Young are on the upswing as well. Randy Arozarena's been struggling just a little bit. So much so that I might switch around some of these lineups. But I kind of want to let it be just for a little bit longer. So, yeah, that's where we're at right now. We are doing pretty good in terms of this season. The Astros kind of took off on us here in the last couple of weeks. We've been hovering right around 500, and they just went on a tear. So, yeah, we're chasing the Astros by 2.5 games. What's new? The Astros are inevitable. But next thing I wanted to point out was some of our young stars. So we have Will Klein, who started off this year, I think accidentally in high A. He is way too good for that. He's borderline major league ready. So pushed him all the way back up to AAA Tacoma. He might find himself on the club before long. Cole Young is our next shortstop waiting in the wings. He's not doing great with the bat. He's doing mid defensively. So I just don't want to call him up yet. I'd rather, in fact, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to get him trained up as a second baseman. Because he needs to learn it and learn it fast. I don't think that hurts anyone else. Hagen Danner, he's another guy who we've been who I believe we just called him up. He's been pitching out of his mind in double A, so we called him up to triple A. I think that is all that we have there. Colt Emerson, he started off in high A, absolutely tearing it up. Found his match in double A. He's still being a great second baseman. Just need him to keep getting challenged. I mean, he was absolutely tearing up high A, so had to call him up. Jesus Rodriguez started here. I want to get him a little bit more time in double A just because I don't think he's quite ready yet. And I believe when I checked in on him last, it was closer to this 243 average that he was having. So we'll just have to see there. Michael Arroyo almost found himself on the chopping block as well. He almost got traded away, but found a way to keep him. He looks like he's going to be good for us. He started off this year in high A, absolutely tearing the cover off the ball, playing great defense, pushed him up to double A. He's going to ride out probably one more month of double A, and he looks like he's going to make it all the way to triple A this year. So love to see that from Michael Arroyo. Johnny Farmello, he started in regular A, was killing it. I decided to move him all the way up to double A, skip high A altogether. He's found his match here. Doesn't play that great of an outfield, apparently, but just keep on finding it. That's all we have to do. I believe that is it there. Next, we had Ryan Sloan. Ryan Sloan started in low A, absolutely shoved in low A. Started to slow down just a little bit more in high A, but he's probably going to get the rest of this month in high A before getting called up to double A for the rest of the year, but we'll just have to see. Thelnine Celestin, sorry for butchering that name, great defensive shortstop, was doing really well in rookie ball, so decided to call him up. He's doing even better right now in high A. So, yeah, just need to see what goes on with him. I think Yoger Batista was one that was over here, so we called him up to get him actual playing time. So, yeah, that's where we're at. Jackson Coer's going down. Yeah, that's where we're at. At this point, I'm gone. Y'all aren't going to see me again until it comes time for drafting, which is going to be at least a month from now. So what I'll do is I'm going to play one more month, and then you'll see me in a month. So I will catch you then. So it's been a couple of weeks. We are now at the halfway part of the season, and this is a good time to take note of where we are. And we are starting off with our top prospects. The reason being, number one, Ryan Sloan. I believe he has gone up from 32 to 28 to 22. So we're starting to see a little bit of a rise in Ryan Sloan, which is great. On top of that, if you look here, Brandon Garcia, our left-handed pitcher out of Texas A&M, has also snuck into the top 100 prospects. And this is a guy who's probably going to be either a September call-up or something of the likes next year starting on the team, just because he has done great at every single level, and he just may not need any more seasoning. So we'll just have to keep an eye on him for the next couple of months. But also, we have our first top 10 prospect with Colt Emerson. He is down right now, but he is now a top 10 prospect. He's gone from 13 to 14 to 10. So, hey, he's still improving. And it could just be certain people have moved out of the top 10. We also have Harry Ford, which looks like number 88. Cole Young, which is number 30. Lazaro Montez, number 45. And Michael Arroyo, who's number 43. Harry Ford has been turning it around as of late. He's starting to get that average to creep up just a little bit more. So let's hope that he can continue to keep doing well, especially because the 10-year, $56 million contract. Anyways, let's go ahead and take note of what has happened in the last little bit. Number one, let's go to our front office, our team owner. As you can see, he wants to achieve a winning record now. And we've changed from a normal team to a win now team, and that was as of June 2nd. The second thing that I want to look at is salaries. Let's just look out to 2030. We have both Brian Wu and Matt Brash signed to long-term contracts now, which is absolutely phenomenal. Both of those guys signed those contracts. However, Bryce Miller did not sign a contract because he's wanting even more now, and I'm sorry, but I'm just not going to do it to him. Bryce is going to be one that we take arbitration to arbitration to arbitration, just because he wants so much more money. Um, Also, there's been a lot of changes as well. I am a trade heavy personality, and as of June 11th, we made 3 changes and 3 trades. The first one here was for Brooks Lee. So let's just pull up this trade. So we traded for Brooks Lee. He's just a great all around piece. He's going to play anywhere in the infield at a high level. He's going to get a lot of base hits. He's a table setter. We need table setters. So far with the Seattle club, he's done phenomenal. So let's hope that he does well. And then also Jose Olivares, who always he just looked like a decent guy that I wanted to throw in just to get a little bit more out of the deal. I gave Randy Arozarena away. Number one, wasn't going to pay his. I did not like having the 11-3. He wasn't hitting really well. He's not particularly good defensively. So I was like, you know what, let's move on from him. And Edward Bizardo, not a guy who I see being long-term asset for us. Very average. Very average ratings for us, and then a terrible personality. So not someone who I wanted to have on my team long term. So that was trade number 1. We have a long term piece with Brooks Lee. Trade number 2. I traded away Dominic Canzone and Donovan Solano. Donovan Solano is starting to regress. Dominic Canzone just did not put it together. His 4th outfield spot was taken by Esteury Ruiz, and I wanted to get one more bullpen piece for the rest of the year, and I went ahead and picked out Kenley Jansen, who's just going to be a middle reliever. He's only making $10 million for us, I think, actually. Yeah, the Angels are having $6.5 million, so in reality, he's actually, $3.5 million for us. So not that bad. $3.5 million former closer with Kenley Jansen. I don't hate that. And the last trade we made on this day, I, again, wanted another table setter. So I went out and got one of the best bat-to-ball skills persons in baseball of Luis Arias. He has done a great job for us of getting on base. I don't care about his defense. I just want him to get on base because we need a guy in front of Julio and a guy in front of Cal Riley. So that was the thought process behind Luis Arias and Brooks Lee. So hopefully they start bringing some more firepower to the club. And right now we are on pace to win 84 games, which isn't bad, but it's not going to be good enough for us. So Next thing that happened. Let's look at our injured list because this is starting to get a little bit out of hand. So we had George Kirby go down. We had J.P. Crawford go down. Now we have lost Mason Miller for the rest of the year with a torn flexor in his elbow. That is a big loss for us because that's a big piece of our bullpen. Part of the reason I made the Kenley Jansen trade was anticipating his loss because it was injured diagnosis pending. And then 4 days later, we lose Brian Wu to a torn back muscle, which just is not good, especially having this large contract now, $108 million over the next 8 years that he potentially might be costing us. So hopefully it's not too bad. Hopefully it's something he can bounce back from. But Mason Miller is gone for the rest of the year. Brian Wu may come back for playoffs, but may not be right for playoffs. So we'll just have to see. And what happened after that? I wanted to go out and get a little bit more pitching help. So I went out and picked up Mitch Keller. The Pirates are retaining over half of his contract. So at most, he's going to be making $10 million in 2028. So not terrible. In fact, let's go look at Mitch Keller. Mitch Keller is going to be making 6.9, 7.6, 8.3, and 9.2. That's not a bad contract for someone who's going to go out there every 5th day, give you a decent start. And his whole thing is if he can pitch 200 innings at, with almost 200 strikeouts, I'm going to take that. That's absolutely phenomenal for less than $10 million. So hopefully Mitch Keller can do the darn thing and pitch like that. So far with us, Mitch Keller has pitched one game and has been phenomenal in that one game. So let's hope he can do more of the same. Also, our starting pitchers have done pretty well. Josh Fleming has moved to a long relief role because he's just not being that successful. We called up Emerson Hancock, excuse me, to come up because, I mean, he was doing okay in Tacoma, and he's started to figure it out. So let's hope that he can just come in, eat a couple of innings, do good out of that fifth spot in the rotation. We have our big three of Logan Gilbert, Luis Castillo, Bryce Miller going, and then we do have George Kirby coming back here in a couple of weeks. He'll be back after the All-Star break. So we do have our playoff starters ready and available. Lineups-wise, we're actually picking things up a little bit. Brooks Lee has been phenomenal in his 4 games with us. Ryan Bliss has come off and has still stayed hot. Oh, that's splits versus left. Ryan Bliss has still stayed hot. Julio Rodriguez has been doing otherworldly things. Brooks Lee is going to have to fight his way into this lineup. And it looks like either Jace Young or Mitch Garver or Seth Brown or Harry Ford are going to have to be the odd mans out because Brooks Lee's bat is just playing. So when we look at the splits versus right-handed, Esteury Ruiz, Jace Young, it honestly might be Jace Young who's the guy who right now, Jace Young for some reason is hitting lefties better than he is righties. Doesn't make any sense. So just going to keep on giving him the hot hand a little bit. But Brooks Lee's got to find a way into this lineup. And honestly, I hate to do it because Cal Riley is a guy that we're going to build around, but Cal Riley has done such a terrible job against left-handed guys that I might just take him out of the lineup entirely against left-handed players. If you look, Harry Ford hits league average against left-handed batters. That is a definite improvement. I remember it being in the 60s at one point. Versus right-handed batters, he's at 6. I remember this was negative, so he is, at this point, starting to turn it around. Let's just hope that he can continue to grow. Seth Brown is a nice bench bat for us. In fact, I think I'm going to have to put him in over Esteury Ruiz and just split that up just a little bit. Man, I really want to figure out a way to put Brooks Lee into this lineup, but that's where we're going to be at for now. That's all we're going to do. Next time you see me, well, let me just make sure I got all my notes. Yep, that's all that we've done so far. Might try to pick up one more player for this run. I might be getting rid of Ryan Bliss and looking for a DH big bopping bat to supplement this lineup just a little bit more, just a pure hitter to take over for Mitch Garver because he's done well, but hasn't done well enough to be the DH role. So potentially you'll find someone there. But next time you see me, I keep on saying it. I hope it's the draft, but if not, I'll see you when I see you. Well, we've done it. We've gone ahead and picked up a 37-year-old JD Martinez who so far this year is batting to an OPS plus of 119, and we really did it for pennies on the dollar. So we have them retaining 100% of his contract for Tyler Locklear. This is not a guy who's ever going to be in our plans. We have first base covered for years to come. That's going to be one of the platoon spots. So I'm very happy with this trade. Again, this was probably 6 days later. So just one of those guys that it's like, you know what? This is one of those things that we needed to have happen to make sure that we continue going forward and win at a rate that we need to win at. So now, hopefully you see me a lot later. And if you can't tell, I'm someone who likes to pick up a lot of talent and a lot of talent early. Went ahead and signed Brooks Lee to a contract extension. This is an average annual value of about $4.75 million. I think that this is going to be a steal. He's going to make $1 million next year, $2 million the year after that, 3, 4, 5, and then 6.5 from ages 30 to 34 with opt-outs. I think that this is going to be a great opportunity for him. We're going to get him trained up over the offseason in the corner outfield positions just to get him some more defensive availability. But this is going to be a guy for years to come for us. He is going to be a top of the lineup, set up the lineup, and just do a thing for us. He's a switch hitter, and his best ability is availability. So didn't talk about him early enough, but just an important piece for us. Something I didn't talk about in the last clip either was adjustments that we've made to our lineup. Number one, just went ahead and bit the bullet. Jace Young is out of the starting lineup, and so is Seth Brown. Gonna give Esteury Ruiz the full-time starting position at left field. Luis Arias at first base. Cal Riley is going to be the everyday starter at catcher. No, against right-handed hitters, and then he is switching off every other day with Mitch Garver against left-handed pitchers. Mitch Garver just isn't the guy. He's a guy who I'm glad is off our books next year. Javier Baez, what a career resurgence for him. He's batting .273 with us, playing great defense. Luke Raley's having a great year. Brooks Lee is doing well once a start. Julio Rodriguez is kind of that guy, and then Ryan Bliss, who would have thought in 24 games is just absolutely raking. Harry Ford has been sent down. He was just kind of the odd man out whenever we brought up, who is it? JD Martinez. JD Martinez being a 100% DH. I just think Harry Ford is going to be best utilized as, make sure that he gets his time in Tacoma. He's a September call-up. He's going to get his time. He's next guy up. Potentially going to get him actually trained up fully at second base and right field, just so he has some more positional availability. In fact, let's go ahead and take care of this strategy right now. We're going to force start him at second base just to get him some more position availability. We have Cole Young getting positional availability at third base, and then he's also eventually going to get at least left field as part of his positional availability. He's a guy who's going to be up here before we know it. He's very close, as long with the rest of our, and sorry I have it on statistics, it's just so much easier to look at it that way. Jesus Rodriguez, he's hitting very well. It's almost time for him to come up. I think he's going to get a June 1st call-up. Michael Arroyo, he's going to spend a lot more time here in Double-A. I think he's going to finish out the year here in Double-A. Johnny Firmino, he's struggling here. He might actually get sent back down. He might not even be getting any playing time. I might force start him in right field just to get him some more playing time. I don't know. We'll see. Jesus Rodriguez. In fact, I'm actually going to force start this guy in right field. Get him more playing time. Johnny Firmino. Not editor. Jeez, let's click on everything else. We're going to force start him in left field just to make sure that he is getting more playing time. Ryan Sloan, he is struggled as of late in high A. He's just going to ride out the rest of the year. But part of that could also be he's just not getting a lot of help here with a pretty bad team. So we'll just have to see. And again, we're almost up on to the draft, All-Star weekend, and all of the stuff that comes with it. Also, this guy, Lorenzo Montez, is very close to being a major league starter for us. I want to see his average come up just a little bit more, but he's hitting the homers, he's hitting the doubles, he's getting on base, striking out a little bit more than I'd like, but he is almost ready for the major leagues, and I believe this is Luke Raley's replacement in the wings, so we'll just have to see. But until then, hopefully this is the last you hear of me. You'll see me at my next update whenever we hopefully get to the player draft. If not, it's going to be major news, so I'll see you then. And of course, whenever it rains, it pours. JP Crawford has suffered a setback. Very glad that we decided to go ahead and pick up Javier Baez. JP Crawford might have actually played his last game for the Seattle Mariners. Looking at it, I know he has a $12 million contract for next year, but I mean, Javier Baez is playing good defense and hitting well, so it might just be his last days. To go ahead and just kind of clue you in, it is July 3rd. We are 6 games back at the Houston Astros. We are 8-2 in our last 10. We're absolutely dominating left-handed pitchers. We're doing all right against right-handed pitchers. We're doing very well. Looking at our actual team rankings, our team stats, I mean, in the month of June, we were 16-11. If you look at the month of June, we started it kind of on a little bit of a skid, and then we right the ship right in the middle of the month. We play hot at the very end of the month, swept Minnesota, took 2 out of 3 from Chicago, and took 2 out of 3 from Texas on a very good road trip. Came back in July. We won an extra inning game. How about that? We need one more to win the series versus Kansas City. But overall, it's almost the All-Star break. I'm just going to keep you guys here while we go ahead and get to the All-Star break and then potentially into the draft. Another good week of baseball here by the Seattle Mariners. We ended up picking up the win over Kansas City. We lost to Pittsburgh. I assume Paul Skeens pitched there. I'm not going to look, but whatever. And then went ahead and took the last 2. So that is another series win in the books for the Seattle Mariners. Love that for us. This week we have a much tougher matchup with, I believe, the number 1... No, not number 1 Yankees. In this universe, Baltimore's firing on all cylinders. Yankees... very average team in all aspects of the game. So, we're having the Yankees and Detroit, which I know Detroit's also been average. So I would love to see a 4-2 week this week going into the All-Star break. But before that, we have our first year player draft. We have the 3rd overall pick and the 35th overall pick in the first draft. So let's go ahead and jump into it. We are hoping Ethan Holiday falls to us. I'm not going to draft. I might draft Brody Walls, but yeah, it's going to have to be. We hope that Ethan Holiday falls. Ethan Holiday goes with the 1st overall pick. Jace Lavalette goes number 2. That is very interesting. Our scout does not like him. Wow. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at all players real quick, and I will be right back to let you guys know who I decide to pick. So, in the first round, we have decided to make our selection. No, it is not Ike Irish. Just wanted to put him on the screen just because I knew this is not the guy I was going to take. So, in reality, I see that I have 5 true options, and I'm going to go into the sortable list and walk you through my options. Number 1, I think the clear consensus best pitcher in this draft is obviously Riley Quick. He's already a 32 out of 70. Looks like he's going to be a great pitcher, ground baller. I love a ground baller. I don't like the low baseball IQ. I don't like the low leader, but I can give or take it. But what I really can't do with is the low control. Next best option, in my opinion, obviously, is Dean Livingston. This guy looks awesome. Going to have a 4-pitch mix. Control looks better. Stuff going to be off the charts. Not going to throw too hard, but looks like he's going to be a good guy. The thing is, he's 18 years old, and you will get to know me very quickly about the entire prospect of there is no such thing as a pitching prospect. I just will not ever use a 1st-round pick on a pitcher. I don't care how good they potentially can be. I don't care how game-changing they could potentially be. There's just... You cannot convince me that this will ever play. A 3-pitch mix, okay, low control. He's going to give up a lot of base hits. Not too many home runs, but that's if he develops. And another guy up here also is... Did I just click on the same guy? No. Caleb Wing. Again, 3-pitch mix, great control, not going to give up a lot of hits, not going to give up a lot of home runs. Looks decent, but again, is just not the kind of player I personally am looking for. So that leads me to the obvious choice. I mean, the other guy I looked at was Charles Davalin, just because great leader, great work ethic. Doesn't have a lot of power, but he's got good eye. He's going to swing at good pitches. He's going to take good pitches. He is great overall, but I mean, look at this profile. He already is a borderline average baseball player. Borderline average. Could come in, already is going to be able to get hits. We don't care about gap power here. Has a little bit of power, a little bit of eye that he can get. Not the worst personality class. I don't like the low baseball IQ, but he's got decent speed. We can always train up the stealing aggressiveness and the base running. But 70 infielder range, 65 air, 70 turn double play. He is going to be a great shortstop or an elite second baseman. So because of that, Merrick Houston, welcome to Seattle. And I mean, also, he's going to save us $3 million, so we can potentially get someone a little bit better for our next pick. Going back to it real quick, our next pick is supposed to be, let's see. I thought we had the 35th pick. Oh, maybe that's who we were supposed to pick up in the 35th pick. And then Brody Walls is supposed to, I guess. I don't know. But anyways, we picked up Merrick Houston. We're going to auto draft to where we are. Ethan Petrie went right before us. Gavin Klein, Chase Shores. A bunch of cool guys. Crew Schoolcraft, he's a two-way player. That's interesting. I think Riley Quick is still on the board. And Brody Walls is still on the board. And Dean Loving. Wow. Okay. We actually have a conversation to have here. Because we can go out and get an Ethan Moore, who looks fantastic. High contact. Good overall infielder. Going to be a second baseman. Great. Wow. I just want to see what my scouting director... Yeah, Ethan Moore. And Dean Livingston. I mean, I think that's the two people that we're going to have to go for. And then we're not going to come up again until the 14th pick. Which, where is Dean Livingston? Dean Livingston is supposed to go right here. Man. And where is Ethan Moore supposed to go? Ethan Moore. I had to have missed him. There's no way. JoJo Parker. Sean Gamble there. Which that's also not a bad guy to have. Where's Ethan Moore? Ethan Moore is supposed to go third round? I'm going to go with Dean Livingston. And I'm going to hope that Ethan Moore stays around real quick. Oh my goodness. So we are going to be able to get Ethan Moore. Wow. Okay. So I am going to go ahead, not even think about it. Ethan Moore is going to be our next guy. If Brody Walls ends up falling just a little bit more, great. If not, that's fine. I just think that this profile, this is my favorite type of profile. So not even going to think about it. I'm going to meet his demand. Boom. Ethan Moore. Brody Walls was picked a couple picks later, so not the end of the world. So let's just keep on going. All right. So we have found our next pick. It is going to be Patrick Forbes. First off, happy birthday on July 11th, Patrick Forbes. You are exactly 21 years old today. Pretty cool, if you ask me. The reason I am going to pick him, number one, he might be a two-way prospect. That's cool. But he has a decent profile. He already has the fastball, slider, cutter kind of already there. Changeup's probably going to be a nothing pitch. So if worse comes to worse, he's going to be 96 to 98 reliever with decent potential. If we look at his overall ratings, probably isn't going to be... Yeah, he's not going to be an outfielder. But he already is kind of going to be that guy for us. So going to go ahead and draft him and meet his demand. So real quick, before I jump into our next picks, three players I actually want to highlight that I am going for. Number one is this center fielder, Jonathan Kim. I'm going to grab him in the 6th round. I love his outfield range. He's already played in the draft league. I might even reach and get him in the 5th round, just because I believe in that profile so well. Already have a couple of good shortstops, but you can't not pick up on him. In fact, I want to look at this Mason Pike guy because apparently he can play a little bit of shortstop. Might have to look into that. But in reality, where is he? Tyler Cerny looks to be a decent guy. Low leader, might be a little bit greedy, but he's got a lot of the stuff that I like to see. So, but big thing is I probably am going to draft a couple of catchers. All of them need to have like this. Easton Carmichael's going to be drafted here pretty soon. Let's see who else. Masato Chilcutt might be drafted by us as well. But it's going to be a lot of depth pieces that are going to be, okay, we're going to go get Adonis Guzman just because, holy crap, that personality is gold. That catcher defense is gold. So Adonis Guzman, Easton Carmichael are for sure two guys that I will draft later. Scouting director says take this guy. I'm going to say no to him. There was a pitcher I wanted. I think it was Miles Patton. Not Miles Patton. This guy looks good. We're going to meet his demand and move on. It is the 5th round, so I am going to go ahead and pick up... I'm going to go pick up Easton Carmichael. And let's hope Jonathan Kim is there in the 6th round. And now I'm going to go through the rest of this draft, pick out players who I think are going to be good. You're getting picked up. Yeah, because he might actually legitimately be a decent pitcher too. Okay, yeah, we're going to pick up Chris Arroyo. And then the only other guy that I know I need to go and pick up, and I don't care if it's really early for it, let's just go ahead and get him. I want Adonis Guzman. Let me just go ahead and pick him up. And now the rest I really don't care about. It's all about getting positional availability. Stuff like this. He already has 3-ish pitches. His control might be an issue. He's going to be an average major league player, but lefty as well? We take those. This guy actually has a weird profile. I don't like the catching. We're going to take you because you have awesome outfield availability. Tyler Cerny, I feel like, is a guy I remember from previous drafts. And just because of that, I'm picking him. And that is our overall draft that we have finished. We picked up Merrick Houston, Dean Livingston, Ethan Moore, Patrick Forbes, Kevin Mannell, and Easton Carmichael as part of our main 6. So that is awesome. Again, Easton Carmichael, great defensive catcher, potentially first base, not too much of a bat. Kevin Mannell just looks like a decent pitcher, nothing too crazy to look at. Patrick Forbes, I think already could be a reliever, very close to major leagues already. Ethan Moore, just love this bat profile, love just him in general. Don't like the personality, but if this all takes, this is going to be a starter for years to come. And then Merrick Houston, I already think is borderline ready for major leagues. Just needs to get some of those. If he can get all those 40s to 45s, he's going to be unstoppable here in a second, but already insane infield range. So looking at the rest of the draft, we ended up also getting Cal Miller, again, more depth, great personality. Turner, Spolargic, Jackson Nove, Jillian Hernandez, Aiden Moffitt, Devin Parks, crazy outfield range. If this bat can develop a little bit more, get some talent change randomness, this guy might be legitimately nasty. Matthew Hoskins, David Horn, Cooper Dossett, Tyler Cerny, Wade Shelfie, Hudson Bryant, Adonis Guzman, which he's a phenomenal catcher. If this bat can get a little bit of TCR, he might be in the major leagues. So Chris Arroyo, who is a two-way player, so let's hope that he can do that. Jonathan Kim is a guy who I already think can borderline play in minor leagues. So what I am going to do, he's on loan. So, I can't do anything with him then. That's cool. Awesome. A lot of these guys are not going to be... I'm going to manually adjust all of these guys when it comes to minor leagues and where they're going to be playing. So, that was a lot that went on in this episode. Just going to go ahead and jump up to the AL, NL. And we got George Kirby back. Let's go. Gonna let him pitch through the All-Star break. And we got a doubleheader today. And we lost both of them. Love it. But the All-Star teams were announced. Let's go ahead and look for the All-Star teams, everyone. Okay, so we did not... Let's see. We had Cole Young as one of our representatives, and we had Ryan Sloan as our other representative for the prospects game. For the AL, Cal Riley was second in voting. We had no one else on the infield. We had Julio Rodriguez number 1 in center field. And that looks like it. Starting pitcher, Logan Gilbert, Luis Castillo. Reliever, Andreas Munoz. So that's good. So let's see what our overall roster is and roster count. So number 1, Julio Rodriguez in center field. Big Dumper is behind the plate. That's awesome. Andreas Munoz made it as a closer. That is great. Logan Gilbert made it, and Luis Castillo made it. So that is 5 players from all of our team. Love it, love it, love it. And with that being said, it is time for me to finally put this episode to rest. In the next episode, we should have the trade deadline, September call-ups, and potentially setting our playoff roster for a playoff run in year 1. So with that being said, we're 6 games out. We're 55-41. We have number 1 wild card spot picked up. We got the pitching staff to go deep. Maybe need one more bat, but we got a bunch of young guys, and it might be time to just let the young guys eat. So with all that being said, that's a long-winded way of saying I'll see you guys next time. Take care, and thanks for watching.